Hello. As you can see, I'm still in the void. I don't know how I survived this long without food or water, but by my calculations, it's been about 4 months. Which means Halloween's approaching. So, let's do something spooky. Yes, from nightmare-inducing roars to whoever decided that this was rated G, Godzilla's had its fair share of spooky and scary things, and since it seems like I'm still trapped in this terrifying space, let's talk about what I think are the scariest moments in the Godzilla series. And you know what? Let's throw Gamera in there as well, because it's my video, I can do what I want. This moment comes from Godzilla X Mega Gearus, the G Annihilation strategy, and is one of the most overt moments of monster horror in the series. The scene works very much on its own as we're quickly introduced to the couple as they are quickly attacked one by one. The rapid cuts, the horror shots of mucus and slime make it feel very gory without featuring any blood. And it has one of my favorite shots in the Godzilla series. This one. This occurs right at the start of the first Godzilla movie in 9 years. A journalist stumbles upon a ghost ship and finds horrors aboard. The sequence has some moments that remind me very much of a similar scene in the movie The H-Man. Both feature ghost ships and have similar lighting setups, only using flashlights for the humans and green hues of light for when the monsters show up, giving it an otherworldly feel. This being the titular monster of the H-Man and the giant sea louse of the Return of Godzilla. Though the big moment is the deceased body sitting in the seat. The scene is fantastic, even with a rather stiff sea louse model. Also from The Return of Godzilla, this is a moment that's only in specific versions, most notably the international English dub and the US cut Godzilla 1985, which we will get to eventually.
Wonder Lizard is down for the count.
This scene is at the end of the film where Godzilla is sent plummeting into the crater of Mount Mihara. It screams this hauntingly shrill howl, seemingly showing that Godzilla does have some emotion as it sees its death incoming. One of our non-Godzilla entries in the lineup takes place in Gamera 2 Advent of Legion. On board a subway train in Sapporo, the train is attacked by the Soldier Legion. The most horrific part of the sequence is the engineer of the train being attacked. One of the legions dissolves the glass in front of him and attacks him. This leads to a rather rare moment of human gore in the Kaiju genre. The music and the suspense are truly thrilling and shows the true threat of the Legion. This moment comes from the Showa era and has some genuine suspense. The biggest thing I want to mention here is the amazing theme from Masaru Sato for Kamunga. It genuinely gives this whole sequence a really creepy feeling. Not only does it attack Minya, but our human characters are put into a ton of peril. Kamunga is presented as a real threat in this sequence. In the fantastic Godzilla, Mothra, King Ghidorah, Giant Monsters All Out Attack, the Guardian Monsters are awoken by a mysterious Professor Isayama and collect people's souls in order to become strong enough to fight Godzilla. There are several moments of the seemingly heroic monsters killing people, including a group of bikers, college students, and almost Yukijiro Hotaru. The monster Zetus makes landfall and proceeds to attack several people, almost eating our leads, including Ishimaru, the friend of the main character Toru, his father Kosuke, shielding his son and friend from the horrors of Zetus, who proceeds to eat people on screen. It is something that is rarely seen in the series in any kaiju movie. There were so many moments from this movie I could have mentioned here, but I decided to go with this one. Godzilla on his rampage through Tokyo is drawn towards a broadcasting tower with the flashing lights of reporters on it, and it proceeds to bite the tower, knocking all the reporters off, sending them to their deaths. The scene is perfected by the intense score and the performance of the reporter played by Masaki Tachibana. His frantic delivery as Godzilla grabs the tower and knocks them over is truly incredible. Absolutely stunning sequence, and someone tells me this is not the last time we're going to mention 54 for a while. This scene comes from the most recent entry from Japan. The sequence is the big attack on Tokyo, more specifically the Ginza Ward. Godzilla is probably the scariest portrayal of any of the feature films in this one. The sequence is overwhelming and terrifying, starting with the use of music. Up to this point, no prior Godzilla music had been used in the film. This is the first time any of the older music appears in this movie, and they play the Akira Ifukube theme, and it is truly scary. The level of destruction is fairly average for a Godzilla movie, but the lighting and shot composition make the scene way more impactful, not to mention putting a character we know and like in the action really adds to a moment of suspense. And it ends with, spoilers for -1, Noriko sacrificing her life for Koichi's, and Koichi solidifying his revenge against the physical embodiment of his war. This one's very much a personal pick for me, as this movie legitimately gave me nightmares as a child. The desaturated colors of the TriStar release really made this movie stand out from every other movie I had at the time. This leads into a point I will make when this movie gets its own episode. The scenes of Hedorah attacking innocent civilians is something that isn't seen very often in Godzilla movies. Most of the time you see buildings being smashed and some engagements with the military, but this time you just see completely innocent and random people fall to Hedorah's attack. People being submerged in toxic sludge, reduced to bones by sulfuric acid mist. It's horrible. The eerie score by Richiro Manabe has always stuck in my mind, with the theme for Hedorah being one of the standouts of the series. Hedorah is one of the only monsters that is a match for Godzilla, and the only way it's defeated is with a combined effort of humanity and Godzilla to stop it. Even with that, the ending is still left open if Hedorah might still be alive, like any great movie villain. Well, that's some of the scariest moments in the Godzilla series / Kaiju series. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something. I'll see you next time, where we celebrate an important day and go back to where it all started. Oh.